Hi everyone, it's Karen and I'm back with my second design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy for the month of May. And I had shown my Here Comes the Bride book was my first project, and I mentioned then that I was going to stay with the bridal theme, being it's an anniversary for my husband and I this month, and May always reminds me of the start of the months that are popular for weddings. And so I created a wedding dress, and I used a plastic dress form that I had purchased, and I designed the dress all on the dress form. So most of the dress form is not even visible anymore. And this is how she turned out. And the top of the dress form, I just used a little acrylic piece that looks kind of like a little crystal bauble. I just inserted that in the top to dress that up. And then just a row of pearls around the neckline there. And then all the rest of it is all Kim's laces and trims, except for the flat back pearls and a little bit of the underskirting tulle, and then this vintage doily that I used. But Kim often has beautiful doilies in the shop that could be used for this purpose. So the top, the bust area, I used a trim. Often I tell you when I'm using my trims, I take off sort of that picot or the top little loopy edge of a lace. And this is the reason why, because this is a perfect place to use it right along the top of the lace here. It sort of sticks up. In the top here is another part of one of her laces that I still had a little bit of, and it was sort of like leaves, and I just laid it all in there across the top. And then this is a little piece of another one of her laces that I laid along the collar. And then this underlay of lace is part of one of her laces. And I liked how it came up and formed here around the bust line. And then I overlaid on top of that one of the laces from my design team package. That's this one. And that's one of those embroidered laces that I tell you I cut it up. Well, that's what I did. I cut along the edge of it here and used this part that I'm showing with my thumb here. I used that as an overlay around the top of the dress here. And then this little piece in the front here is from this lace. And that's what's so fun about these laces, is that, you know, you can use them as a whole, which I've shown in my last project, but you can also use pieces of them. And when I looked at this little flower here, this little flower right here, and this spray above it, I thought that's perfect for the top of the dress. So I laid that in here, and then I topped it with 3 flat back pearls and this little bit of flat back teardrop bling that I had in my stash. And then I also used, how many rows did I use? I used a couple rows of these little, I call these little beads. They're made of lace, but they almost look like it's beaded. And I let that come across here. There's 2 little pieces here that come down from the flower, but I didn't accent them. I just accented 3, and then the next row below it with these pearls are slightly larger than these ones, and they're little flat backs. And then the waist, I used that beautiful velvet ribbon that was in my design team package, and I cinched that in tightly and ruched it a bit at the waist. And then in the ruching, I added a little bit of the cup chain from Kim's shop, and this one is an iridescent one, and I think it's about a 2 millimeter, very small, but really perfect for this application. And then coming down to the hips of the dress, I used this beautiful lace that was in my design team package. And again, looking at it, this part right here, it has the beautiful flower in the center and then leaves coming out. And then I love how this one comes to a point. And so I wanted to use that right in the center of the dress here. So it comes down to a point. And then it flares out over top. This is that beautiful wide creamy colored lace that Kim has in the shop. She carries it on regularly. It's one of my favorites. I love using it. It has lovely detail and texture to it, and it's just so pretty. And I just added a few flat back pearls on the very bottom of that. And then underneath that is that vintage doily that I had in my stash. and I just thought it just all went together so well. And then underneath that is just some tulle from a wedding veil that I had in my stash, and I just cut it in strips and put it underneath to add the fullness to the skirt. And then cascading down, starting on the side, is a piece of that applique that was in my design team package. I've added it here, all cascading down the side. I've just cut it into the pieces and arranged it how I wanted. The leaves drop down right to here, and a piece coming down here, and then a piece going up to the hip right here, and then cascading a bit down the back. And then the back of the dress is another piece of it, and it starts right at her back. Whoops, sorry. It starts right at her back with one of the flowers from this trim. I cut one of those out. They're just beautifully textured threads on there with a nice shine. So I started with that, put one of the applique flowers on top, and I added a little flat back pearl in the middle of that. And then I used some of the sprays that come off that applique and just added them all down the back of the dress here. And that is her. She's all done, and she turned out really, really pretty. I'm really pleased with it, and I had a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun creating these dresses. Met Gala was on just a day or so before I started making it, and I thought, oh, I would love to design a dress like that and some of those ones, but I'll stick to my little ones and have a lot of fun doing them and getting all the fun little details on them. And I think if this was replicated, any bride would look stunning in a dress like this. So I hope you enjoyed my share of my design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim. I hope you'll pop over to the store and shop for some of these beautiful laces and trims and bling pieces that you can add to your projects. I will leave links to her store in the description box below, so it's really easy for you to click on that and head over to the store. She also has some really talented ladies designing for her. I'm really, really honored to be in this group of ladies, and I have listed them all below so that you can click on each of those links and go over and see what they are creating with products from Kim's store. I know each and every one of them is creating things to inspire you so you can create some projects of your own. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for stopping by. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done so. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Either way, it just draws more attention to my channel and for others to see my shares. And I hope to be back soon with another project. And of course, we have our big birthday celebration coming up next month, and we've all got fun projects we're creating for that, and there'll be giveaways. And so you don't want to miss out on that. So make sure you do subscribe, because you do have to be a subscriber to each one of our channels in order to be able to be a part of the celebration and be part of getting the prizes. So take care, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.